All right, and we are live. Okay, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so if you're new here, I am making a game, a Metroidvania game, a 2D platformer or side scroller, and yeah, I'm also making the tools to make the game as well. And currently I'm working on the game editor a little bit. So we've been get to do document up and running here. So we've been upgrading our assets manager. So basically it's like, I mean, you know, in Unity or Unreal or whatever, you have a list of all your assets like textures and different entities or prefabs or whatever. And well, we have the same thing here. And so the one thing that we worked on last time was thumbnails, so that you can actually visually see what the asset sort of is before you want to edit it or whatever. If you want to search for an asset, you can look for it with the thumbnail, so you can more easily see what it is. Before it was just like an empty box that only showed the name, but it was hard sometimes to read the name. So now we have thumbnails, and I can open up the thing here and show you. So here's all our assets down here, and they have thumbnails that are like generated from the content that it's in. So for example, if I open this one, you can see that this is an animation. It says here animation, and we have our elder graphic here. He's talking here in this animation, and so we have two animations here. We have idle and talking animation. You can see the preview here. If we are at the idle animation, you can see this corresponds, the thumbnail here corresponds to the first frame of the first animation. So the first animation is idle, and the first frame is this one. So it's gonna show up as this. Yeah. And for textures, it's just gonna be the texture itself. Time maps, we basically take a screenshot of the time map, sort of, and we scale it down into this thumbnail here. So all these thumbnails are cached on the file system, and yeah, it makes it way more easy to see what you want to open up here. However, there is one thing that kind of grinded my gears here a little bit, and that is if I look at this one, for example, it says standing here, but it's not really obvious that it's an animation. That when you're looking at it, you have to like hover over it, since this is white as well. I mean, I could change the text to be black, but I think a better solution would be to add an actual icon that more visually shows what type of asset this is, so you can more easily see what the type of asset. And I've been working on getting some icons implemented for that. So I have an animation icon, so I'm gonna test this out. I'm not sure if it will look any good, but we can test it out. So I want to implement these the icon instead here, and it's probably not going to be that difficult to do. Now let's see. So I want to do, oh yeah, one thing before I forget. When you create a new asset, I want to make sure that we actually create a thumbnail for it as well. So it does work for textures, but because textures are like automatically generated when they are like request or missing. For the other ones, we actually don't automatically generate them if they are missing, since that would require opening up all the files and checking out the content, I think. Or maybe not, actually. Okay, yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna save that for later. That's gonna show up as an issue and then we'll have to fix it. So what I want to do is I want to just add an item here. So I want to add what was I talking about before I interrupted myself? Wait, what was it? Sorry. We were talking about thumbnails. Yeah, the icons. Yeah. So the whole point of this stream, basically. We'll see if we can do anything else, but I just wanted to make this work here. So yeah, thumbnails, and then we also want to do asset type icons. So basically I want to render the icon on top of the thumbnail. Yeah. So I think it's going to be pretty easy to add actually. So let's go to our assets manager thing here, like the layout function, UI function here. And where are we? We are somewhere. I think it's the node menu. Yeah. What is this? ID is... No, this is not ID. Also, it's not used, so I'm just gonna remove that. Okay. Okay, so here's the node menu. So here's everything that goes on like for each of those boxes in the assets menu or manager. So here we have the icons. We're drawing the icon first. Then we reset the cursor back to drawing on top of the icon. Or this is the icon, like the, okay, icon might be a bad name. This is actually like the thumbnail. Let's call this thumbnail instead. Yeah. And then we reset the cursor to draw on top of the thumbnail. Then we create this selectable, which is the thing that you can hover over. It changes the color and stuff, and you can double click on it and that will open the node. Then what else? So I think the selectable is actually the thing that shows sort of the label here. And then we also have this text down here. So yeah, we have a drag drop source as well. Okay. Yeah, so I think we're gonna paint this on top. Maybe just paint it here and then move the cursor again back to the position. So we'll set the cursor back there, and here we want to draw the icon. So this is the actual draw icon. I'm just gonna copy this to see if we can copy some of this functionality. Okay, so if it's a directory, we don't really have an icon. If it's a, we should probably have an icon for a directory as well. If it's a file, we check for an ID. If it doesn't have an ID, that means it's not a proper. It's not a known. Well, yeah, it's not really a proper, I guess, file that we handle in the system that you can actually open up and stuff. And well, I guess texture JSONs you can't open up either, but it's like an unknown type of file, I guess. If it doesn't have an ID, it's not an asset. It might be an outside file, like a actual texture, like a .png file, or a .wav file, or whatever. But if it has an ID, it's like a .tilemap.json or .scene.json or whatever, and then we have an ID for it. So if we have that, then we know, yeah, then we wanna check what type of document it is, and accordingly we wanna draw. Actually, you know what? We already have document type, so we don't actually need to get the document type like this. Oh, I just realized that. So actually, we can just switch on document type. Okay. So anyway, thumbnail. So this is gonna be the icon. I'm gonna switch on document type. If it's a texture, so we only have animation for now. Oh yeah, I was just thinking also, how do we load this asset? We don't actually have a mechanism for loading in random like images into the editor. I think we can just put it into the context to make it easier. And there goes the LSP, so now it doesn't work anymore. So we could actually just put it here, I guess. We could put yeah, just the icons texture. Let's make it knowable, since it might not actually be loaded. And then when we load, where do we do this? I mean, we have restore session. Let's go to main. What's happening here? I forgot. So we create the context here. We could load it here directly, but then there has to be like an error handling there. And then we do restore session, yeah. And if there's an error, we do something. So it makes sense to load it in init and not restore session. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say icon texture. So we're gonna load this texture, right? File path. Yeah. So we just need a file path. The file path is gonna be assets/icons.png. And if there's an error, I guess we can catch it and log it. Could not load icons. Or not S, just like that. And then this will result in null, so I have to do this break. Or actually, I just learned that you probably don't need this. You can just break and then the value directly. You don't need a label. So we're gonna break, I think so anyway. What would it break out of otherwise? Okay, let's just break null here. And then in the initialize, we are going to do unload texture self. I guess if we have icons texture, we will unload that. And then I guess we also set it to null. Okay. Now we should be loading that in. Let's just run this to see if this works. Yeah, okay, break expression outside loop, right. So let's make a label, and then we break into that label. Assets manager, 147. Use of undeclared identifier function. Okay, yeah. So we're still like in the middle of doing this. Oh yeah, so we have the icons texture. So let's actually just do this for now. And where do we have this? Just to see, just to run this part of the code and see that works. Okay, format is, oh, I forgot about this. It has to be like this. Okay, there we go. And let's check if we icons texture. No. So we didn't get any error loading it. So, yep. Actually, we can also check for the icons.png. There we go. File loaded successfully. So great. So that works. Now we got the icons texture. Now we need a way to grab the actual textures. I'm thinking perhaps we just want to hard code that in here, I guess. So for what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say else return. Okay. And then if we actually get an animation, because that's basically the only thing that we actually have an icon for. Now I think we just return. Well, so the icon, actually this is going to be the icon. This is going to be the source rectangle, I think. Yeah. Or maybe just a grid position. So what we're going to do is we're going to define a size for the icon. So this is going to be like the cell size. This is going to be 64, which I have, or not 64. It's going to be 32. The icon is 32. And we'll see if that's too small or too large or whatever. But let's do that. And then the grid position. So once we have those two, we can make a source rectangle from those, and then use that to draw the texture, like that part of the texture, the source rectangle, onto the screen. Okay, so for animation it's gonna be at 0, 1. So this is gonna be a vector, and this is gonna be 0, 1. So that's the position of the icon in the texture sort of sprite sheet or whatever. So now we need a source rectangle. So this is actually going to be c.rectangle now. And we have x is going to be well, okay, we need to make source rect min. This is going to be grid position times cell size, and we'll make cell size a vector now. It's easier to work with. We're working with vectors here. So that's the min, and then this is going to be source rect min 0. Y is going to be source rect min So that's like the top left. And then we need the size. So width is going to be the cell size, and height is going to be cell size as well. There we go. Now we have the source rectangle. Now we need to use a different version here of this. So I'm gonna search for because I'm pretty sure we are actually image rect. So we want to do this type of deal, and the texture is going to be context icons texture. I guess if we don't have it, we just also return icons texture is equal to context of icons texture, or else return. So then this would be the icons texture, and I guess this is the destinations. Wait, destination size, or size, because we don't have the position is already set outside of this. So this would be the size. So I would say it's going to be the same size as the cell size. Hopefully we don't need to cast this into a float. Possibly we do. Okay, and then we just bitcast the source rectangle. Well, we don't need to bitcast since we already have it in the correct format. So I'm basically juggling between two different versions of Raylib basically here. So we have Raylib, the actual Raylib library, and then we have RL imgui, sort of the integration between Raylib and imgui library, which has so we're having like two different versions of rectangle, for example, everything basically related to Raylib. So when you want to work with the imgui with Raylib, you need to use this one, and that one only accepts this sort of evil twin versions of the Raylib stuff. So for example, this texture is a Raylib texture, but I need to pointer cast it into this other version, but it works. And then this rectangle is already from the C version here that I have instead of RL, which is Raylib. So then I can just pass it along there. But in another place I had to like bitcast the rectangle from Raylib to C.rectangle to make it work here. Okay, let's see. Anyway. Right, so now we should actually be drawing the icon there. If the icon's texture is loaded, if we have an ID, and if it's an animation. Okay, so this should actually already work now. We'll see. Okay, what's happening here? Unused local constant. Okay, this ID is not. Okay, so let's scrap that then. Yes. 146. Expected type F35 I32. Okay, yeah. So we do need to make those into a float. What else? 147. Oh, these are also. Yeah, these also needs to be. I mean, I guess for that one, you could we can also do. Whatever. I'm just gonna do this. So you could define a vector that is a float type instead of integer type, and then do float from int on the entire thing. But it's not that big of a deal. I'm just gonna do this. It's just a bit annoying that Raylib sometimes it deals with floats, sometimes with integers, and it's with Zig you have to like explicitly convert each one. I guess it's a good thing in the long run, but wait, what's happening here? Pointer cast, icons, texture. Oh, it's not a pointer, I guess. So let's do this. I wonder if you have to do that, or if you can just say and directly. Like if I just do this, will that work? Whoops, I just, no. No, so I have to have brackets around, okay. Okay, there you go. Now you can see a little animation icon there. However, I want to remove the label from, let's see, the label from the selectable. So I don't want the label here. I wonder if you can do something with these flags. I have to actually look up these flags because my LSP doesn't work. So it's gonna be, what is it? Sigui. And I'm gonna find, okay, I'll show you what's happening here. Browser. Okay, so I want to go somewhere. Yeah, selectable. The flags. Whoops, what's happening here? Where's the actual like function in Zik? Is this all of it? Yeah, okay, let's just search for this one. What's happening? You're supposed to be able to like do this and then it will. Okay, let's just search for this as well. So here's private. Where's the definition? Yeah, I just wanted to check if there's a way to hide the label. But I think what we'll do, because I think it's gonna complain, like if we put this there, it's gonna crash and complain about no, okay, so it works anyway. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. Now it's just a matter of adding other icons. I haven't drawn them yet, so it's just an initial test for these icons, but yeah, that works. I guess technically we could put the icon a little bit like outside, so it looks more like an official sort of icon, that it's not part of the texture or something. It looks a little bit more like, yeah, here's like a stamp or a little badge that's on top of there. So what we could do is, let's Let's remove this. I mean, we can just change the cursor position a little bit. So we could take this position here. Not sure what type of... No, this is const, and then... So let's do icon position. This is going to be... Let's do var icon position equals selected position, and then icon position dot x minus equal to 2 or something. Something like this. Home member named X. Oh, it's just an array. Okay. Let's see how this looks. Okay, so you get like these white borders around. Oh yeah, because my texture, I didn't actually add transparency. I just fixed that real quick. Okay, so I'll select by color, delete. Oh, I have to add a alpha channel. There we go. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Now they are transparent. Okay, I can put it a little bit more. Maybe 5. Okay, so now you can see they are a little bit like outside there. Cool. So it kind of shows you what type of asset it is. Maybe it will color code the assets as well to make it more easily distinguishable from each other. My first thought was to have them all the same sort of color and then different shapes, but I think they're going to be too similar to visually more easily see what it is. But yeah, now it's just a matter of adding more icons and just mapping them to these different types of entities, or I mean assets. So that was basically all that I had planned right now. I guess we could make it like a super short session. Wow, that was a tongue twister for me here. Okay, but this is actually implemented right now. We still need to implement icon types for all documents types. Oops. And I mean, we do have some of these others like very nice, like if we can implement all of this, it would be actually sort of a full-fledged asset manager almost. Well, it has like the I guess the MVP sort of functionality to be used like only in the editor. Like you can still move files from outside, so you can still use like Windows Explorer or something to like drag the files around. You could do that. However, then you would have to like exit and open the project again. Actually, you would have to exit the entire program and reload it because the cache is yeah, the index would have to be rebuilt for that file as well. So it's more complicated actually than that. You have to like yeah, you have to exit the program, move the files manually, then re-enter the program. So it would be nice to be able to do that inside of the Assets Manager, but it is possible at least, without like screwing things up and stuff. Same goes for deleting files as well. Now, deleting files is, I guess, a little bit more involved than moving, also because of the fact that if you have references to the file that you're gonna delete, like for example you're gonna delete an entity type and that has references to in other files, that's gonna be either we do like a huge lookup thing when you delete the file and check for any references in any of the files, or we can also keep track of all the references. So we kind of have an index of all the references for each ID, like a reference count. I mean, both methods work. It's just that the other one, like keeping a count, is a more involved. I mean, I guess searching for all files is also pretty involved for all the references, because you would have to search, like potentially you would have to have a different implementation for each type of document as well. Yeah, you would have to have like some sort of maybe interface function for each document to check like what references do you have or something like that, or do you have this references, or do you have this reference in any of your like fields or whatever. So because for example the scene has entities, and one of these or basically all of the entities have dependencies onto other resources. So an entity could be a custom entity, which means it has a reference to some sort of entity type asset. And so if you move or if you delete an entity type, it's going to have to go into all scenes and look into all entities to see if any entity is referenced by this thing. I guess you will still need to implement, like, here, give me a list of your references. If we want to do an index, it's just a matter of caching it instead of like asking all the documents. But the good thing about caching it is that you don't have to open up all the files and read all the data in the whole project to be able to find the references. You can just look up in the index to see, okay, these are the files that has this thing that you're trying to delete as referenced. So you can say, I guess the only thing you really need is like that. It's also a question of how to handle that. Like, do we just show an error message saying this was referenced somewhere else so you can't delete it, or do we produce a list of all the places where this references is? That's also a thing which we can do. We can have like a context menu for the asset and then look for references. Yeah, I mean, that's also a thing we can do if we have that functionality. So that's a whole thing. I think we want to go that direction because of the whole thing with IDs, and we have all the we have references, and we have that thing. So it's nice if we could look that up conveniently. So I think, where is our, so here we have our references. Maybe we'll put it in here. Yeah, this is like the asset index stuff. So we could add some to-do lists here which handles that. So this would be like yeah, just a reference index. Interface function for documents to produce a list of references to other documents. And we also need to store reference index on file system. Reference lookup function. References lookup function. I mean, it's not really something that is super important right now. It's like it's a really nice to have, but it's not really that like high up on the priority list. So I probably won't. I mean, I'm kind of on a roll with these references and index and all that. It's kind of like an arc going on here. But I think for priority's sake, it's not really gonna give us that much. But it's just like if you wanna delete a file, that's gonna be a consequence. It's like, it's like we could have like a warning that says like, do you really want to delete this? Remember to check for references first or something like that, because otherwise this will just crash, or yeah, it will just not work. I guess what do we do with if someone deletes an entity type, for example, if someone deletes a document, and then if I guess it would be like from case to case, like how would we handle a document that references a deleted document? How would we handle that? I guess that might be like from case to case, or we just, maybe we always have all our references be nullable, and if it's missing, then we just set it to null and be done with it. That would be one way to actually handle it gracefully, I guess, without crashing the entire editor when deleting something that doesn't exist. We could also have like some sort of information type that actually says that, okay, this one was set to something, but now that document doesn't exist anymore. It's like a missing reference. I guess you could show that as kind of a label. If the document doesn't exist, then it's missing. And then we show like an error label. Yeah, that makes sense. So that would be a good way to start. To start this feature off, because I feel like that's a requirement to be able to handle this issue, for us to be able to have delete files. Move files, we also need to make sure that asset index needs to be updated after move, and we also need to update the index here. But other than that, oh yeah, and the asset library, I guess asset library needs to, I mean, I guess that's, yeah. And the asset library is the thing that keeps track of the file system, you could say. Okay. Yeah, asset library needs to be updated, and the index. And then for deleted files, we need to show an error label on reference inputs. So we could start working on that, I guess. We also have the search bar. So yeah, just filtering out whatever you type in, it's gonna do a straight up comparison. I guess it could be any part of the name or whatever. This is something that is like can be very advanced, but it can also be very simple as well. I think we'll start very simple, of course, which is just matching like any part of the label of the document or the name of the document. And you could do like a deep search as well, like searching inside a document to search for some text inside, and it will match that as well, but that's not gonna be something that we do for a first thing. Okay, so should we start on moving files? Once we've done that, it's probably gonna be very simple to do the delete files. We can already drag things, so it's probably not that big of a deal to actually do the whole drag and drop thing. And also we don't have a way of selecting like multiple files or something like that. But that could also be something like selecting multiple files. And then move multiple files, delete multiple files. Okay, but we'll start with one. We'll start with move files. So let's just do this, because I think it's going to be actually pretty simple. We have a lot of things in place for it already. So basically what I'm thinking is you create a directory which is called, I guess we can call it animations. Okay, we get a directory somewhere, I guess. Did it show up? Okay, so we did get it. It didn't show up, so that makes me think there's a bug here. Where is the thing? New directory. Okay, so we did make the directory, however it didn't update anything else. Let's see how we do it for document, because I'm pretty sure we do it for this. So yeah, we're appending here. We're also adding index. We don't need to do that for directories, but we do need to append a new, I guess, I'm not sure if it's a file or if it's let's just do this. It's pretty annoying to see these question marks everywhere. Okay, so let's go to asset library, new append new file. So we don't have like append new directory. So let's add that. We don't need an index for this. This gonna be the directory node. We add this new node. We could actually add it to the beginning instead. Like, why are we adding it to the end? Because you're not going to be able to see that. So I think I want to change that behavior to add the thing to the beginning instead of the end. And what else? Okay, I think that's it actually. It was not that complicated, so we do append new directory. We don't need to pass asset index. There we go. Okay, let's try this out. Oh, we got some compilation error. Use of undeclared. Yeah, we also need this. There's a whole bunch of things just to get the relative root to the root there. Right, but we do have root there. Does this real path alloc, did that return like the absolute path, or I always forget how that works. The canonicalized absolute path name. Okay. And then this is relative to the root. Okay. Absolute focus. So, well, actually, I mean, name is going to be relative to the current directory, and then we have the current directory here. So we just need. Now forget if this. No, this has to be relative. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I guess, yeah. This has to be relative, I think. So if we just take this and join the name, we should get relative to a root. We don't need to do all this crap. So we're just gonna do facet path join z. And what is it? It's gonna be let's also do current directory. It's gonna be like if we don't have a one, this will not work either. So now we can change this to be just cd. Yeah, and then here. So current directory and then name. Right, that should be the relative root relative to root. All right. Expected 2 arguments. What 2 arguments? Oh, allocator. Expect. Okay, so need this to be a pointer. Expected error union. Asset memory 112. Oh, this is not. This doesn't need cache reachable. Okay. There we go. Now let's see if this works. So let's try and create a new directory. And there we go. It's there. If we quit and we re-enter, it's still gonna be there. So great, now we have these two. I'm just gonna go in and manually delete this thing. Okay, so now if we open, it's not gonna be there anymore. Cool. So we have animations directory. You can actually double click to enter it, except you can't because it crashed. But it's supposed to work. Let's see if this, what's happening here. Segfault. Great. Great. Oh man, it's probably some string somewhere that's not properly initialized or something. I don't know. Usually to do with pointers and or yeah. Naively copying things. Well, it's not going to be from this function. So where is this happening? Well, it's just a random place here. It's just randomly, seemingly randomly just failing here. At some random place. We have access manager, so it is calling something here from layout. But then it just fails without telling us where it failed really. Like this doesn't give me any information. In layout. Yes, I know this, but it's not. It's like, yeah, we're passing context to asset manager. What's the issue? We're calling these functions. I think that the issue is happening in here somewhere. So we could do a log hunt to see where the issue is. I'm just gonna try and analyze a little bit first. So here's our current directory. because the issue didn't happen when we tried setting the directory. It happened somewhere, or it might actually happen. So here we're freeing this new directory. The directory is a path. Now, if we go to context, what's happening with set current directory? We are sending this path into here, into project set current directory. This path is then, oh, here it's actually zero terminated, but here it's not zero terminated. Interesting. Let's make it the same type, because I think that's actually a huge deal. And let's go back, let's go in here and do set current directory. Here's actually not that type either. So why do we not have it just like this everywhere then? It's probably best to just have it there as that, because I've encountered issues like this before, and it actually resolved by having the zero terminated type everywhere. Dupe path, let's do dupe z, redirectory. Let's make all of these zero terminated. I'm just scanning here. Change all this. Okay. So the root also is like, yeah, whatever. Okay, so now that has been changed. Now will this actually become some sort of error? It still crashes. Yeah, same issue. Okay, this is a Z. Yeah, this is zero terminated. Okay, but the whole thing is, I wanted to check. We're freeing this string here, and we're sending it in here. So I just need to make sure that we are properly duplicating that. We get the path in here. We are duplicating it. So, yeah. Okay, I want to check where this path is coming from. It's coming from where we are duplicating it here as well, so it should be its own thing. We're sending it in here. You are then duplicating it, so that shouldn't be the issue, I don't think. Alright, so we are freeing up current directory and all that. So let's check. Okay, I think I know what's going on now. After we set the current directory, basically I think it's pretty unstable to use this one, for example. Maybe. This one is very unstable, I guess, to use. But to just make sure that nothing weird is going on, I'm just gonna do return here. So that we exit out of all stuff that could access stuff that has been deinitialized or something. It shouldn't be an issue though, because we're re-accessing here. Yeah, still the same issue. Yeah, these kinds of problems are pretty tiresome to debug here. You have to be very careful with the pointers, and you know, when you're deinitializing and making sure that you're not using pointers that are out of date and stuff. I'm just trying to find if there's an example of somewhere using something somewhere where then later it's wait a minute. No, okay. Now I was thinking of something else. Okay, yeah, no, that's I was thinking of this, like a way we fetch the current directory, but since it's not actually used, and we're not really calling this function anyway, so. But I was just thinking of yeah, I remember I changed all things to this before, but I just wish it would tell me more where the issue is. Like, on what line does this segment fold happen? It just tells me like there, this is like the call. It's probably gonna go, it probably goes in here. Let's just do a bunch of logs here. Oops. Yeah, you can see here. Well, okay. You can't actually see here because you get a seg fault here. Yeah. I want to also then log here. Because if this happens first, and then you get another one entering the function, you should get the other log as well after that. But we don't even get this log. So it's crashing before, it's crashing in here, I guess. Interesting. I guess that's progress. I'm just gonna guess that that's what's happening. What? We don't even get there? Oh, this is dot dot. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Okay, that's not the part. That's not the issue then. It's gonna be down here, node menu. Where are we? Here. There we go. Now this is directory path, but the thing is, this gets deinitialized during this operation, but we are duplicating it. Actually, we're duplicating it. Yeah, no, but we are duplicating it before it gets deinitialized, so it shouldn't be an issue. Also, this will crash since the path is no longer. So we could try and duplicate the path before we send it in and see if that fixes the issue. Let's just see if this does anything, or that we can see the logs. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there you can see this is garbage afterwards, so that's expected. It didn't crash though, but we didn't get into SS Manager again afterwards. Okay. And we are returning from the node menu. Oh, of course. But then the node menu is called from a loop. And next thing is the initialized, so that this one should actually return a bool. Returns true if nodes were invalidated. So return true. I don't think it's the directory path. That's properly handled, I think. There we go. And if this is true, then I guess we can just return. Okay, there we go. All right. And that's also, I think we want to do double click on this instead of single click, since that's like the convention here. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, now we can move there. Okay, cool. Let's check if we get any memory leaks. Yeah, no. Okay, great. So that fixed that issue. So anyway, back to where I thought that this was already working, but it apparently was not. But anyway, now we can actually go in here. We can create a new directory. If we go in here, we can create a new directory in here. So let's just see if this works first, because this is a different functionality, I guess, because it's gonna append this to the previous one and so forth. So I'm just gonna say name of the monster here. So here we got that one, and we can go in there. We don't actually see where we are, so that's gonna be something that we probably want to add. But we can go out. It's kind of weird how this now is like in its own lane. I should move this up here. But yeah, we can create stuff inside there. We can go in there, and if I go and look at the actual structure of this project in the file system, it matches also the structure here. So that all works. Now let's try and go in here, and we go in here, and then we create an animation. So will that actually be created in here? Yes, it will. I'm just gonna check the file system to be extra sure that all works as intended here. So yeah, so we got a JSON file here, and then if we open it, we can also go out and we can select some. We can select this texture. Here's the texture, I think. And we set the texture there, and we can create a new animation called idle, and we can select our little animation here. There we go. Oh, there's something weird with the frames here now. Okay, so a couple of weird things happen to this UI, but yeah, this works. Okay, cool. So yeah, so we can now, yeah, we can go in here, we can create an animation in there, and we have a couple of things that we need to fix. I want to fix this same line issue here. So we'll go, where's our dot dot? Here it is. This needs to be on the same line. So if we have this, I want to say same line. There we go. Should be easy as that. Go in here. There you go. Now we have this same line in there. So now it all happens there. Okay. Next thing, let's just fix this bug here. Oh, I didn't save the animation. But we can open up any other thing here. This one, for example. No, that's the entity type. Here we go. Here's the animation. And we'll go into idle. And yeah, you can see these are kind of weird. So I have to check what's happening here. the animation frames. So we have animation frames somewhere here. All right. So what is going on here? It's gonna be like the list of frames. List box. Here's a selectable. And then we draw a frame. And we set the cursor position. Wait, does this even do anything? Oh my god, this is fucking spam. Yeah, this doesn't feel like it does anything. We do the selectable. After the selectable, we should actually what we should do is we should restore. Well, the frame should be drawn before the selectable, I think. So we'll do this, and I think I'll delete this. Okay, I think that should fix the issue. There should be like a same line somewhere here, I think. So here's the animation. Ah, there we go. And now you can select each animation. Oh, it disappears when you select it. That's weird. It's like a ghost now. Okay, so something weird is happening there. If it's selected, why is it like disappearing? Oh, is it because the color is not transparent or something? Let's check that. We have the colors in here. Should probably move this out into some separate file or something. But we do have some. We do have like selectable or selected or something. I'm not sure which one it would be here. Frame background. All of these are like hovered. Then we have button, we have header, maybe header. Let's try this. Oh, maybe that's why we wanna paint the icon before. Right now. That is the animation, yeah. Okay, there you go. But it's like I want it to be not the same color here. It has to be like more highlighted color, like almost the same colors as this hover. So it's gonna be the same color. So 4, 7, 4. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I mean, we probably want to paint the frame on top of the selectable instead of the other way around. So let's actually do that. Let's do this. So we're gonna set the cursor so that this is gonna be next position. Yeah, cursor position. And then after this, we're gonna set it back to the next position. There we go. now it should be drawn on top of that. Yeah. Cool. All right. So, what now? Now, yeah. So back to this stuff here. So what I want to do is if you can see here, we already have like drag and drop. So what I want to do is have directories as a drop target, and yeah, and just have it execute a move when you do that. So let's go to Assets Manager, and we will go. Also, this one should also be like a similar drop target thing. We'll deal with that later. We implement it first one time, and then we can see how we can duplicate the functionality. Yeah, so here's the directory. Here's like the double click happening. And we also have a drag drop source. So it's going to be a drag drop source and a drop target. So I want to search for a drop target. Yeah. Now let's just copy this, I guess. Okay, now we only want to do this if we're dealing with a directory. So I want to say if the node is equal to a directory, then we do all this crap. I probably want to move this like outside, like a function or something. I don't know. And then this is the dragged node. Okay. For now we just have one node. Later we will have a list where we have like multiple selections. But let's just make this work here for now. So yeah, we begin the drag drop target. I'm not even sure if this works. This should work though. But having these two adjacent to each other, that you should be able to do that. Maybe you have to call like a super special function. I don't know. Anyway, do we have auto completion? No. So let's check. I mean, we probably want to both have move for directory and file. That's going to be like the same thing. Although for a directory, we're going to have to run an operation on every file in the directory. Okay, my mind just spawned up an idea of having, because if you move it on a directory, that's going to be a huge operation. If you're moving like a lot of files, there's going to be a lot of changes to the index. But if you have a sort of routing system, a sort of network of index.json files, so each directory would have a cache directory and then an index.json file, and then the index.json file will only refer to the shallow files inside. And then the main index.json file, which is gonna be the sort of main index file where you get all the indexes. Those, if you get like, let's say you have a bunch of files inside of another directory. I was thinking that though the index could either point to a file, or it can point to a directory. And if it points to a directory, that means that that file, that ID document, is inside that directory somewhere. And so you would have to go and hunt in all the, you would have to fetch the index.json in that directory to get any candidates over there. It's kind of like a routing, the routers in the internet, where you want to find an IP address, and some of the routers know, like they keep some sort of cache of where that IP address, where you have to go to reach that IP address. And so then you don't like just randomly stumble about to find this thing. Imagine scouring the entire internet for this IP address or whatever. I'm sure it doesn't exactly work like that, but it's like, it's a kind of a what I was thinking, like some sort of like thing like that. Because if you're gonna move, let's say you want to move like a folder with 10,000 files in it, there's going to be a lot of updates to the index file. I mean, I guess it's not going to be that bad. The rebuilding of the index file is going to take, like, you're going to have to generate 10,000 new strings, new paths, and draw and put them in the index file, and also in the memory. I guess you don't have to update the file directly. You can do that on exit though. But we are updating it on each sort of update right now. Okay, but anyway, that's not a problem for now, so I'm not gonna deal with that right now. So, but I was just thinking out loud here for a little bit on what the potential problems here we're gonna face. But anyway, so the directory we want to move. That's what you want to call a premature optimization. If we actually started to do that, and I admit I have been doing some premature optimization things, but it's just I don't know. It's an old habit that dies hard. It's like, I know that this is more optimized, and it's like, why not just do it that way? And then I just do it that way. But it's like, if you want to start, you don't want to start building that, and that's like small things, but you don't want to start building like huge systems to solve a very small problem, or solve like a non-existent problem. It could be a problem in the future that crops up if you have a huge project, but we don't really need to do that right now. So yeah, then you don't really need to do that. But that's a bunch of wasted time. I mean, you're gonna learn things, but it's like, if you want to be productive, that's not a good way of doing things. And you have to like discipline yourself and say, no, don't do it, and just do the simple thing for now, and if there's a problem in the future, deal with it later. Especially when you like develop your own software like this, it's like you have a golden opportunity to be productive in that way, because you don't need to satisfy any customers or anything. But anyway, and as problems crop up, you can deal with them immediately. You don't have to wait for some patch or anything. You can just start working on it, and it will solve it, and you will solve the problem. Okay, anyway, so if we move a directory, so this is going to be, I'm going to do this later. I'm going to start with the file, because this is going to involve moving all the files recursively inside this directory, which is going to be a pain in the ass. So I'm not going to do directory for now. I'm just going to leave that. But for file, it doesn't matter what type of file this is. But yeah, so we do have accept drag payload. So we are going to always accept the payload, which means, well, except for directories, I guess. But we are going to accept the payload asset. Yes, is that the only thing we have? Wait, asset. I thought we had like different types. Maybe we didn't actually. Oh yeah, because you can do get drag drop payload, and then you don't have to like consume it. Okay, yeah. So we check for file, we accept the thing, it's called asset. I'm just gonna double check here. Yeah, everything's called asset. So then what else? We already have the payload, so we don't need to get it again here. And we don't do this. So yeah, so we got the payload, we got the node. What else do we want to do? So now we actually, what we want to do is we want to move the file in the file system. We want to update the asset library to match the file system. And we also want to update the asset index to match the new path for the node ID. All right. And I guess that is because if we actually have an ID, so yeah. And if we do this, we update the asset library. So when we update the asset library, we actually also should invalidate the thing. Yeah. So in the end, we actually wanna return true here. Okay, so we don't get the segmentation fault error. Yeah, so moving the file. So I'm gonna check standard library here. Do we have like move file? File system. Move. I mean, I guess there's copy and remove. So normally you would open a directory like a dir here. So you would actually access this dir and then call functions on this one to actually do things. So we do have copy, create, delete, anything with move. No. Make path, open directory, open file, read, real path, rename. Oh, rename. Okay, yeah. Of course, rename. All right, so we want to rename something here, right? Yeah, so there's rename Z as well. Cool. Okay, and then we have rename error, which can be a bunch of different things. So great. Yeah, let's use rename. So we need a directory that we want to open. We need a old path into the new path. Okay, great. So we want to open the directory. Now we do have like target dir. Root, open dir, open root. So no, it's gonna be like the project open root. Yeah, we need the project. Do we have the project here? It's the question. Well, we have context, I guess. So if we don't, yeah, I guess we can return false. Like the breakout here is like returning false. We open root. Is that really not making an error? Okay. We open the root. We have to close it. So this functionality we probably want to move into a separate function where we like move one file or something like that. But then you probably want to have a version where you take in the target directory as well. You should be able to like move, like rename. Let's see, because I want to move. Sometimes you want to move out things. Yeah, you want to move things outside of a directory or inside to another directory. Change the name or location of a file and or directory. Works for directories as well. Okay. If new subpath already exists, it will be replaced. Okay. That's a bit scary now, but we'll see how it works. Renaming a file over an existing directory will fail. Okay. Both paths should be counted. Okay. So it doesn't specify if the new subpath can be like outside of this directory, but I'm gonna guess that it can. I'm gonna guess that there's no such restraint here. So we have the target. So actually we probably just want to move, because we have the sort of relative to root things, so we probably just want to open the root directory. Yeah, let's do that. Let's open the root directory and we'll use that to move the file. So we'll do rename, and I believe we have to use Z here. If we go to asset library and we go to the node structure, these are all zero terminated. So we'll use Z. Now the first one is the old path, so this is going to be the file path, and the new path is going to be something else. So what is that going to be? I mean, I guess we will take the base name of the file okay, I'll just check here. Path base name. This deals in non-zero terminated stuff. But yeah, okay, so base name, and we will get a slice out there. So this is gonna be the base name. Let's do a, can we do pointer cast? Because this is, it's gonna be the end of the string anyway, so it has, I think this is gonna be a pointer, we can pointer cast this. Okay. So that's the base name. Then we need, actually it probably doesn't matter. We're not gonna use base name in that way anyway. Now we need a new target path. So target path is gonna be, I'm gonna use join Z here. And it's gonna be node dot directory dot path. We know it's a directory, so we can use that. Actually, let's do target directory is equal to node.directory. Yeah. So now we can use that. Target directory path. All right. Then, yeah, we want to join. So we need an allocator. We need to make this into a list or a slice here. And then the base name. So that's our new path. Now free this. All right. Target path. Okay. And if something goes wrong, I think we just return false here. Well, if something goes wrong, we actually wanna catch this, and we wanna say context show error. Yeah, just could not rename file or move file to this. So and then we return false. So the first one is cannot move file. That's file.path. And then the second one is going to be the target path, and then error. Okay. Also here we do catch up. Out of memory error. All right. Now I think we're done with moving the file in the file system. So at this point, it's actually been moved physically, or yeah, the file system. Now what we need to do here is we need to update the asset library to match the file system. I think, or do we not update the index first? All right, we're probably on the update index first. Make sure it works. So and how did we do that? Update index something. Save index. It's just saving the index, I think. Yeah, it doesn't update the actual index. So we have add index. I don't think we actually have a function for this. We don't really want to add an index. We want to update an index. I guess we can do rebuild index, but that will rebuild the entire index, so that's not very efficient, but it's a start, I guess. Hello Goldman 2678. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I guess we can just rebuild the index. You're fine? Cool. Yeah, I'm great. I'm working on this on my game editor here. Let's see. So I'm currently adding functionality to move files in the little file system thing. that we have in the editor. Are you at the end? Do you mean the stream, or? I think I have to like eat something soon, so I'm probably gonna run maybe a little bit more, and then call it. I just wanna. I think I'm gonna finish up this feature here. Well, it depends on how much time it will take, I guess, but. Or do you mean the work that I was doing, like the feature I was implementing? So I'm pretty much, I guess, at the start of it. To answer that question, the work, yeah, of this particular feature. I mean, the editor I've been working on for quite a while. Well, quite a while, I say. That's not a good indicator of how long it is, but like maybe half a year or something like that. But not like, 8 hours a day or something like that, but here and there. Not really sure how many hours I put in. Let's see, what were we doing? So yeah, so we wanna, so we just wanna call this rebuild index once we've moved the file, I think. Yeah, so that's the only thing we need to do. So the asset index is actually in the project, so we can do p dot. Actually, do we have a convenience function for this? No. Okay, let's just add update index. Rebuild. I think that's the only thing we need to do. So are you interested in Zig programming or game development, or? Let's see, project directory. Oh, we need a bunch of things. Allocator. And product directory. Okay, so that's gonna be root. And okay, the root is actually just a normal slice, so cool. That should be it, what we need. So let's I want to check also if it has like an error or something. Yeah, it has. Okay, cool. So let's go back here now, and we do update index, and we need an allocator. That's going to be context, or actually it's going to be just allocator. We get the allocator. Actually, we do have context here. Context. There we go. All right. Yeah, and then this can be an error. So if the update fails, what do we actually do? I guess we'll show the error, and then you have to like restart the program or something. I don't know. We show the error. This is probably not gonna be an error, but I'm probably wanna could not update index when moving file. Okay. Right, so that's the index, and then we wanna also update the asset library. So let's go here. So this is kind of our structure where we have like our little current, like the file structure that's currently. So what's happening is we're moving a file from the current directory into some other directory. So we should just remove the node from our list of things. So do we have a function for that? We have append, we have some other things here, create node. No, so we don't have that. So we need to create a function for that. We have append, so it makes sense to have remove here. Remove node, I guess we can call it assets library path. Okay, and I guess we'll check for this node. I guess we can also use ID. That's going to be an easier way to check. Well, let's use path anyway, so because more nodes are going to have ID than path. So I think we'll just loop through the list. I mean, okay, so if we have, so current files and directories are going to be this. If we don't have it, then we just return, I guess. So let's do this. We get the index out here, and we want to check path is equal to node okay, actually let's add a convenience here. Get path, because it's going to be the both of them are going to have the path. Wait, get path. No, it's going to return a path. So we're going to do switch self inline else node end of path. All right, now let's get back here. So that's the node, and we do get path. All right, so if they are equal, we wanna remove that. So we actually wanna do, well, we don't, oh yeah, we don't have like ordered remove or anything, because this is just a normal, man, maybe this should be like an array list instead. Why did I make it just an array? Should I continue with that stupid thing? Okay, I'm not gonna make it into an array list right now. That's gonna be a refactoring for later. Yeah, to do refactor into array list. But let's just do this. There should be. Oh yeah, you can use slice. You can use. So what you could do is you could say self current blah 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 is equal to I think join you could do. No, that's just for strings. What is it? Concat. All right, let's do concat. We need an allocator. The type is going to be node. The slices are going to be Well, the first slice is going to be this 0 to I, and then the next slice is going to be, I wonder, yeah, this has to work probably. I, so if I, let's say I is 0, we want to skip the 0, so it's going to be +1, and then just dot until the end. But I guess also we want to check, this is going to be like out of bounds if it's the last item as well. End is going to be this I plus 1 if I is equal to length minus 1, then we do empty slice. There we go. So if it's at the end, we do an empty slice, otherwise we take the last bit there. I think that's going to be like an out of bounds error otherwise. And let's just do this as well. So if it's like 0, it's going to be 0 to 0, and that makes sense because then you skip the 0, right? If it's 0 to 0, does that actually be an error? I guess we'll find out. Okay, and then we do start. And catch unreachable for out of memory error. All right. So I hope this works now. There shouldn't be like any issues using this slice. Let's see. The slice, this is actually, yeah, this is the array of nodes. So the nodes live there. And we get this, so then when we concat it, it's gonna sort of depend on the process going on in here, I guess. I guess what we also could do, if this doesn't work, we could just loop through the start and end and just add the items. Yeah, you could just do this. You can do this is going to be equal to a new thing. Actually, this doesn't work really. Well, we're going to do a thing here. We're going to do new CFAD. It's going to be allocator, allocate node, and then the capacity is going to be start length plus end length. Okay, and then once we have that, we also want to defer allocator free this. Wait, no, we don't want to defer that. No, we have this. That's the old pointer. We want a new pointer and we free the old pointer. Then we don't do this. We do for 0 to start length. Actually, let's do 0 to start length. And we get, let's call this J. And then new cfad J equals. I'm just gonna do this to make sure that no weird things are going on in the concat operation here. So this guy just gonna be start J, and then we do 0 to end length call it K or J as well. J plus start length is equal to end J. Okay. That's like a, what you call it, like an ordered remove, except it's super unoptimized, but anyway. And in the future we can just replace all this with a call to ordered remove instead. So anyway. Also what we want to do is we want to grab out the actual node and we want to say the initialize on the node itself because it's not going to exist anymore. Okay. Let's do that at the end so we don't get any weird memory issues trying to access things that are out of date. Okay, so now we have this remove node function. So, oh yeah, we also need an allocator in here. So let's do that. Let's do project asset library remove node context allocator, and the path is the, wait, I guess it's the file.path. Yeah. Alright, let's try this now. Use of undeclared by itself. Submanager. Where is this? 123. Oh, this is context. Allocator. Rebuild index is not okay. Make this public. Asset index. This needs to be mutable. Library 139. Okay, what's happening here? Slice non-array type. Oh. Wait, why am I not using this? Also, yeah, also self, this should be set to this now. Okay. So we actually update the thing. Okay. Moment of truth here. Should we do like a dry run first, maybe? So now you can see here we can actually drag and drop into this directory. It accepts it as a target. So we'll do this and it fails. Cannot could not update index. Could update index. Okay. That's wrong message here. When moving file. I don't know why that's so funny to me. But animation poses PNG texture JSON to animations. Okay. Could up. Okay. So let's check the logs here. Oh, we got some memory leaks as well. Oh yeah, we should. We should remove this log. Okay, so it's up there in the index. We should also like save the index as well. Memory index leaked. So it just okay. So nothing in the logs. Could not update index. What did it say? Missing field? That's very strange. Let's check the index here. So we open the thing, we walk and walk and walk through it. So we recursively walk through all of the files in the project. We are checking. Wait, we should also check for the cache folder. The cache folder is not going to be a part of this. Right, so we don't have a guard for the cache folder, so that's an issue. I think we're gonna just ban the name cache here. Yeah. Wait, but how do we actually do that? I guess we can check if the dir name is cache. Yeah. Cache directory name. Where do we have that? If the path, but this path is, it's going to be relative to root, I think, yeah. So if that is the same as that, no, we're gonna need the dir name. Yeah. And we are gonna, let's see. Hey, SM7_lol, what's going on? Yeah, I've been off a little bit, so I've been busy with work and stuff, so I haven't been on for a while, but I'm trying to get back. Yeah, well, I'm probably gonna I'm gonna finish this feature. I'm not sure how long it will take, but and then I'll call it, because I need to eat and stuff. What are you up to? Can you show the current game? Sure. I'm not sure if we can actually run it though. If it's in a runnable state. I've been like updating a bunch of stuff. Fingers crossed here. I'll show it a little bit and then I'll continue. Let's see. It's probably not gonna work though. That's the issue. Oh no, there we go. Because I'm currently like updating the JSON files and like the structure and stuff of those. Let's see, loading scene, error reading file, unknown field. Yeah, so you can see here it's like complaining about unknown fields and stuff. So I need to like update the things to make it work. But yeah, I just want to add some more features to the editor, and then I'm gonna like fix all the JSON files and stuff. So there hasn't been that much update to the game. I'm not sure what you've seen previously, but I've mostly been working on the editor a little bit, and I've been trying to float some ideas on how to continue adding content to the game. So that's kind of the main sort of thing that I'm doing right now. It's like a lot of time is going into like thinking about what to add to the game and stuff, and making some creative progress there. Last time you could walk around and jump, I think not a lot more. Oh, well then that's yeah, then I think that's gonna be, I mean, depending on what you've seen, I guess that's gonna be a lot of progress then. Yeah, I'll try to make, for the next stream, I'll try to make the game in a runnable state, and yeah, so you can see it. Editing chat boxes, yeah, that's pretty much done. You can even you can have quests as well, so you can accept quests and complete quests and turn them in and stuff, and change like the dialogue options and stuff like that. It also has like a little sound playing and talking animation and stuff. So I fledged that out a little bit. But it's nice to pick those sort of low-hanging fruits to get a nice presentation going. But yeah, let's continue here. So what the hell was I doing? Oh yeah, so I wanna skip the cache. We have a cache folder that's, or directory, that we don't wanna have in the index, so we wanna skip that. We wanna check if the dir name is equal to that. Oh yeah, and this is nullable, so we actually have to, if we don't get a dir name, let's do this instead. Let's do path dir name, and then this is gonna be entry path, and if we get the dir name, we can get it out there, and then we do if. Damn, this is weird on my knowledge. Okay, are you a developer? I'm sorry if I forgot if I asked that, but I'm gonna go eat now, so have a good day, bro. Okay, have a nice day. So we'll compare dir name to cache directory name, and if that is true, that means we're in the cache directory, so we just skip that. So all of the sort of files in the cache directory are gonna be skipped here. Cache directory name. Oh yeah, so we need to import that. That's gonna be in the project. So that's gonna be actually available here. Okay. Cool. Now, what is gonna happen here? So we're gonna skip that. Let's see, did we actually physically move the file now, but the index is not properly updated? Yeah, we actually have the animation there. So I'm gonna move that back to the previous folder. And we're gonna try this again. Oh, we don't have a thumbnail now. Okay, so it crashed again. Well, this is kind of to be expected to have a bunch of weeding problems here. Man, there's a lot of logs going on. Segfault. Okay, that's different. Access memory 31. Seg fault on deinitializing this? Huh. Oh, do we do it like 2 times? Or wait. No, wait, this is the wrong place. Access manager. Update index, remove node. Drag. No, this is the one we need to delete. File path. Which one are we actually deinitializing? Oh, the library. Wait, why are we freeing C? Is this? Oh, we're freeing. Oh, right. We're freeing the list. Right, so we only get the initializing there. Remove node. So we're removing the corresponding node that we are trying to. Oh, what am I doing? I'm I'm deinitializing all nodes here. That's what's happening. So we actually want to move this in here. Okay. That's the node that we want to remove. We don't want to deinitialize all of the nodes while looking for the one that we want to remove. Okay. Yeah, now we have this over here. So the index actually got updated, but then the library, I guess, did not get updated. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna move the file back, which will mess up the index, but I don't care right now. And then we'll move the file in there. Oh my god, it works. Can we open it up? No, this is just a texture. And this is a directory. Yeah, and here's the animation for that. Okay. So that we actually did not want to move that file because that was a texture. So actually what we can do now is we can implement let's see. We can implement what? Oh yeah, probably we're gonna fix this memory leak also. Oh man, that's a lot of memory leaks. Something happening like every frame it seems. ID array hash map? Really? So it might be. Is this the same thing? Yeah, it seems like it. Something that was added. Okay, does it get an issue with just doing this? No. So it's only. Let's see if we go in here and then exit. We don't get. Okay, go back and forth. No. So it's only when you like move something, I guess. Yeah. So I think this has to do with the index because that's the place where we actually use the ID hash map or array. And we rebuild the index, right? So when we rebuild the index, we actually want to deinitialize the old index. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So we want to deinitialize the old index. we want to, I mean, we don't, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll deinitialize and then yeah, we just deinitialize, I guess. Okay. And then once we've done that, we also set hash map to empty. Okay. Let's just test this. Oops. Let's move animation in there. Quit. Okay, now there's no memory leak. Let's actually just move all the animations in here. Oh, what happened? Site fault. Okay, let's check this. Asset library. Remove node. So was it because I had this as an index? Or I mean a filter on? Yeah. I can see stuff happening. It is being moved, but then it's failing. So let's go here, and we return true after removing the node. Right. Or is it in here? Oops. I think that might just be the last call, maybe. We are returning true. Let's trace back a little bit. So we're returning true. If that is true, return. This is the asset manager. Now the filtering thing happens here. I'm not sure why that would be an issue. Okay, I'm just gonna write that down as a bug for now. I don't want to bug. So we can move files. We are updating the things, but we cannot allow moving file to previous directory or parent. Okay, bug when having a filter on, asset filter on, moving a file crashes. Program. Okay. But we did implement the basic functionality. I just want to do this parent directory as well to sort of complete this thing, to be able to move files anywhere you want. Okay. Where are we? I think here. So the thing is, Yeah. We basically want to do this. I think let's copy this. Make a move file, drag drop target. Which also returns true. Returns true if nodes are divided. Okay. Oops. Wait. There we go. Alright. So what do we need here? I think we need a context. Is that it? Maybe? Yeah, I think that's it actually. We need the context. Wait, don't we need like the node as well? The target. Oh, this is drag node. Where's the target node? Here. Target path. Target directory. Yeah. So that's the node. I don't want that to be a node. I want this to be just a path, target directory. And does it need to be zero terminated? I'm not sure. I don't think so. But it's gonna be zero terminated, so okay. Now here we're just gonna say if move file drop target context and path, then we also return true. Right, so this does the same thing. This like paints this. Okay, this is a drop target to this path, right? Okay. Now let's double check this first. As a library. What's happening here? Function with return type. What? Oh no, as a manager. 122. Oh, this. Okay, so return false. There we go. Let's see. Move one there. Yeah, that seems to work. Still. Can move all of the animations in there. There we go. Now all the animations are in there, and even things that are not an animation like this one. But I want to move. Also, doesn't. Can we do this as well? Okay, yeah, that also works. So cool. Now we want to be able to move to this, and we're going to use the same function to do that. But we need to construct the path, the target directory path. So now where is that thing? Here. let's see. We have this button and we want to make this into a move file drop target, but the path is going to be what? I think it's going to be like the dir name of the current directory. So target directory is going to be dir name of the current directory. If we don't get that, I guess we don't. I guess it has to have one, or else unreachable. Okay, let's do this. Target directory. Okay, I think that's it actually. Target directory expected is from that. Okay. So we can now this one is a more of a inconvenience here because it's not zero terminated. So well, it's slice terminated though. You know, does it matter if it's zero, if it's not zero terminated? It doesn't need to be zero terminated, you know. Yeah, let's do this. And then be happy. No. Yeah, it's complaining about this one. This is their name. CD. Right, expected. Void found bool. What? Oh. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Let's try moving something in there. That seemed to work. Moving something. Okay, it doesn't get like the drop thing. So I'm not sure. It doesn't really work. Why is that? Is it because we don't get this? So I think what we'll do then, I'm gonna assume that if the dir name is like empty, it's gonna say, yeah, it's like empty. So okay, I'm gonna test this actually, because if we go 2 levels deep, it should work. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then it crashes, of course. It's something to do with the string, probably. Segfault, yeah. I'm just gonna assume it has something to do with this string, maybe. Why does it segfault? Asset manager. What's happening here? Failed to open file. Oh, no, that doesn't matter. Okay, I'm just gonna refill my coffee a little bit. All right. What is going on? So it failed when trying to do backwards. So it failed here. I'm gonna double check this join method. Does it actually need join Z? Okay, that doesn't actually require the slices to be null terminated or zero terminated. Okay. So that makes it more weird because this should work then. I mean, the only difference here is like... Okay, I'm just gonna log this and see what we actually get here. Move file, drop target. I know that is totally unnecessary, but you're having the double quotes in there, but I just wanna do it. Okay, let's try this now. Now, did it actually get moved or was it not moved? I think it was moved. Yeah, it was moved. So we move this in here, that's fine. We move it out, then it crashes. And let's check move file, drop target. Oh, it does it like 5,000 times. What the hell? Wait, no. Okay, let's just do it in here when we have this thing. Yeah. Move that back in there and then back again. Move drop target. Animations. Yeah, that seems correct. Huh. That does seem correct. And then we join by path, so it should be correct as well, like moving. But then it fails, like, wait. Ah, that's the first one. Okay, yeah. And this is the second one. So only to animations, which also looks correct. But somehow it fails anyway. Okay. If that happens, if this is true, we return correct. And why would that be an issue here? And it returns true if it did all this. Did it actually go and return true though? Is that the issue? Is the issue removing the node? Is the issue something with the target directory being... Here we're joining, so we're not really... We don't really care if target directory is deinitialized or whatever. Now, okay, so this target directory is this target directory is taken from the CD here. The CD is actually asset library current directory. This is prone to be invalidated. So when we actually do this, so let's double check if that's what's happening. Now, I mean, what we could do is just duplicate. If we know we get in here, we can duplicate it. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do duplicated target directory. It's gonna be context. Catch original. Okay, so target directory. Let's only use this now. And then we want to defer context allocated free. All right. Let's check if this is the issue. There's gonna be something that is like different between these two things happening. No, still fails. Huh. Okay, so that was not it. Should we check this? Well, file path. Let's double check here. If we don't get this message, then that might mean that this string is no good. Remove node animations. Okay. And I'm just gonna guess that we don't get in here as well. Remove node ended. Let's just double check that this is the actual place where things are going wrong with a classic logging debugging here. Okay, I saw some weird stuff going on. Okay, it actually and wait, is this the first one or yeah, that's the first one. Okay, yeah. So it doesn't actually go out of that. So the issue is somewhere in here, and the only difference. What could be the issue? Do we have to duplicate the file path? Library. Remove node. Where are you? Here. So this path. Or is it because of the type? Wait. No. That has to be zero terminal. Yes. This path. How are we using it here? We're checking for equal. Right, that's before we've done anything of note. Then we're not really doing anything here with the path directly. I guess we could also check like if they are actually equal, because this path is like the exact same as node path. The same pointer. But anyway, so we initialize, but that happens at the end. Now we do grab all the nodes there and an end, and we create a new place for the new list, and then we like copy over all of the things that we want except for the one thing that we don't want. And I know that this could be done a lot more efficiently. You could skip, you could keep the same memory and just adjust the slice a little bit, like lower the size by 1, I think, and then just move every, you go to the end and you copy every the end slide, the end part, and you copy everything by 1 place down. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through and see what's going on here. So we create a new space, and we are setting ourselves to that new space. We are freeing up the old space at the end, and we are copying everything here. Something wrong with this. It doesn't seem like it, because the remove actually seems to work perfectly, and the thing that we removed now was not at the end or the beginning or something like that, so it should work as well. Maybe it was at the beginning actually. Okay, let's try that. Let's try moving something that is the first node. Yeah, this is the first node. So if we move this in, let's move the second node. That works. Whoops. Let's move this back. But the first one crashes. Okay. That might have to do something with the start here. So if the start, so if this is 0 to 0, what will that even be? Let's just do a super security check here. If I equals 0, then we do a thing there. Is that the solution? That feels weird. Like slicing 0 to 0 seems like it should be the same as an empty slice. Maybe that's not the issue though. No, that does not seem to be the issue. Okay, but it does seem to work for things that are not at the absolute start. So why would that be? I mean, it's a clue, but it's... I don't feel like it's helping much. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just log stuff here. Okay, start. Move node start. Late. Happy times. Okay. Man. Alright, let's move this in. Let's try this again. So that works. Whoops. And then this will not work. I'm not sure if it actually because it's the first item, but it seems like that's the case. Okay, so it fails after the first thing here. It does go through everything. So is it one of the free things? Oh, wait. Wait, I need to return here. Wow, okay. How did this work before? Yeah, because we're removing one node. We're looking for the node. If we find it, we should return. But before, like, somehow this worked. How? Okay. Let's just forget about it and test this. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time analyzing that. Okay. Now it works. Oh my god, thank you. There we go. Okay, let's try this one also. Okay, cool. So now we can move things out here and back. Oh, except for this, but yeah. Anyway. Okay. Nice. Wow, that was a little bit sweaty there. Let's move all these logs. Good old log debug. Okay. Move all this stuff. Move this. Okay. Move. Yeah. Cool. So the only thing here is we're gonna set target directory. So because the dot didn't work, like moving to the parent did not work when we were at the parent of the root, or I mean the a child of the root, or in other words, if the parent was the root. So we want to say if we get a dir name, we use that, or else we will use, I think, dot. And then we don't need this if here. There we go. So this would hopefully make this work now, yeah. So now we can move things out there. Very, very, very cool. Okay. So now we have a means to organize this a little bit better. Let's make, so now you can make like a directory called textures, and we just move the textures in there. I'm pretty sure, like, I think all of these are gonna be textures, like everything that has like more than one sprite is gonna be a texture, so I'm just gonna move them in here. So this is just one way of organizing, and of course this is just the normal file system, so you could just organize things by moving, organize it anytime, any way you want. You can have, yeah, it's just like a normal file system. So really nice. I'm just gonna do this for now, and I can make it. Is this actually entities? Yeah, this should be entities because they are not animations. I only had 2 entities, I think, yeah. And then we have like time up. So I can actually see what the difference is between the scenes and the time map. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just quickly create an icon for that. Here you can see here's the animation. I'm just gonna copy this and I'm gonna make another type of color here. Let's make it sort of brownish, I guess. It's gonna be the scene. Okay, the scene, I guess it's gonna be like, I don't know. What would the scene look like? I mean, I guess you could have like some sort of frame, and then a sun. Tree. I guess it kind of looks like an image or something. Well, let's add a player here. Okay, sure. And then we'll add another one for the tile map. I want to make this, I don't know, maybe more greenish, bluish, I don't know. And yeah, the tile map is gonna be, what is the tile map gonna be? It's just gonna be like, you know, a bunch of these things. I mean, now it looks like Tetris. Okay, let's just do this, I guess. Oops. It still looks like Tetris, but guess we can do this. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so that's the time map. That's the scene. This is animation. We have texture. We have entity. I guess entity is kind of easy to do. Let's make entities red, maybe. The entity is just going to be, you know, a stick figure. Okay. So these are all the like important things. Like I guess we can do a texture as well. Texture is basically, this looks more like a texture, I guess. But I think what I want to do is I want to make texture actually more vibrant. So let's make this. Actually, maybe we'll change the entire base of that. Make it a little bit like this. Yeah, I'm just gonna make this. You know. Actually, this guy should be blue, I guess. Okay. That's an image. Okay. So we have animation, scene, time map, and entity type, yeah, and image or texture or whatever. All right, so let's export this. Okay. Now, let's go back here. All right, so what's gonna happen here? So, let's move this. I wanna go, where do I have like grid position? Oh yeah, it's like no draw icon. Here we go. Right, so if it's a file, it's gonna do this. Oh yeah, we probably wanna do something for directory as well. Okay, I'm not gonna do that right now. So directory is the only one that's like empty, I guess. It would be nice to see if it's a directory or not, but okay, I'm just gonna do it real quick here. So the directory is like, I don't know, it is the same thing. It has this type of thing, I think. Oops. And then it has like a little thing on here and thing there. I'm not sure about this part. Actually, it should be just like this. And then we do this. Let's do like a dark something. Whoops. Something like this. Is that a directory or it looks weird. This part looks very weird. I'm just gonna fully extend this. Maybe have a little bit of yeah. Okay. Could also do this. All right, that's the directory. Back to the code. directory. So now, yeah, we want to do the same thing for that, but it's gonna be different. So what we could do now instead is move this out actually over here. And this would actually be the grid position. So we do switch on node and file, we get the file, and we do switch on that. Okay, and now we get directory. The grid position is gonna be whatever we had there. So 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 1. All right. And yeah, we have the other one. So we have texture. I'm starting at a different spot here, but texture is 0. No, it's 4, 1. Let's move else because we're gonna have everything in here. Let's see. Next one is scene. 1, 1. Then we have time map. 1, 2, 1. And then we have empty time, which is 3, 1. There we go. And if we have it in more, we have to, you know, it's gonna complain that there's missing things there, so that's nice. Okay. Should we try this now? Let's see. Unexpected. Oh, what's going on here? Oh. Asset manager 197 entity type. Okay, here we go. A whole bunch of different things. Now we can separate scenes from time maps. And we can also see the directories. Really nice there. So let's make a folder called scenes. And we'll drag all the scenes into there. And we'll make a directory called, whoops. Time maps, and we'll move stuff in there. There we go. Now we got this neatly organized, and of course we did have this filter here, but I mean, it's still useful if you want to organize it anywhere else in some other way, like, I don't know, by area or something else. But yeah, that is up to the user here. But it's now we can organize it however we want. We can go in here, we see the sort of icon that shows what type of asset it is. Very nice. And yeah, we can still open, every reference still works. We can still do stuff. So if we, for example, go here and we want to change the texture, we can go in here and we can, for example, say, which one is this? This is, so we change the texture. Where is it? Oh, this one actually, we haven't implemented this properly. Okay, that bad example. Let's go into where would we go? Animations, yeah. So let's go to animations. Let's go to, I guess, Elder, and here is one we can actually change. So we'll go to here and we'll say, yeah, let's change this to this one, and there you can see everything still works as it once did. So very, very cool. And it also updates, of course, the file system, so it mimics the file system. When things are moved here, they actually move in the file system as well. And yeah, now we can move things outside here, we can move things back inside. Now this was a time map, so we move it back to the time maps. Okay, cool. And we can still open up everything here. These links, everything still works as well. Alright. Now let's go back to the to-do list, and we can, yeah, this one now works and this one is fixed. And we also did the icons for every type of document, so very nice progress there. So I think now we're ready to also start with the delete files thing as well. I have a couple of files that I've wanted to delete for a long time, so it would be nice to try it out on those files. So there's some test files that I've added. We also have selected multiple files. That's not really a huge issue right now. It's not really a low-hanging fruit in that sense. I mean, we're gonna have to have some sort of batch operations on some of these things that we're doing. But I think right now also the search bar would be actually pretty nice now when you have things in deep, sort of nested maybe places. It would be nice to have a search bar so you can search for a specific texture or asset that you want to reference to when you're editing some sort of asset. So that would be a nice addition as well. But I think this will be enough for now for the editor, and I think I'm gonna continue working on the game next. We'll see what happens, but as I said before, like someone wanted to see where the state of the game, so I'm gonna have to get the game up and running again and work with all this new formats, JSON format and stuff that we have for the editor. So that's gonna be the thing that I'm gonna do next. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this time. So thanks very much for watching, and hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.